continued. We've got, as part of the partnership with Ally, a Rivals Week that's going to kill it with some great matchups. And it's just continued storytelling around the level of play these elite athletes are putting on the court every day. We have a huge opportunity.
Incredible business results since we made our 50-50 pledge 3 years ago. Our brand valuation last year was up 32% year over year. And you look at the financial services category, the category dropped 3 percentage points.
107,000 viewers. That's what women's basketball draws without Caitlin Clark. The WNBA offered players $540,000 per year. They refused. They bet on Unrivaled, a rival league that would give them power. Instead, Unrivaled lost 65% of its audience in 12 months. The backup plan is dead. The strike threat is over, and now they're begging for deals they already rejected. January 2026, the WNBA faces its reckoning. 97% of players voted to strike. Their demand? Fair compensation. Their leverage? A rival league called Unrivaled that promised to shake the foundation of women's basketball forever. The proposal on the table was staggering, an average salary of $540,000 per player. That's more than quadruple the current $120,000 average. Most people would call that a win. These athletes called it an insult. Not enough, they declared. We have options. We have power. Pay us what we deserve, or watch us walk. Confidence radiated from every press conference. Social media exploded with solidarity hashtags. The revolution seemed inevitable. Then reality arrived with brutal efficiency. Unrivaled Season 2 premiered on TNT with catastrophic results. 107,000 viewers tuned in. Sounds respectable until you examine the context. Last year's opening night? 313,000 viewers. The mathematics are devastating. A 65% collapse in viewership doesn't represent a dip, it signals complete market rejection. Individual content creators generate larger audiences from their bedrooms than a professionally marketed league backed by major network investment. TNT executives poured millions into promotion. Mainstream sports media championed the league relentlessly. Marketing campaigns saturated every platform. Celebrity endorsements flowed freely. None of it mattered. The audience spoke with deafening silence. What message did their absence send? Simple and crushing: there is insufficient demand for this product. Let's examine the business model that defies basic mathematics. Unrivaled pays Paige Beckers $348,000. Her recent game drew 17,000 viewers. Calculate that ratio. Over $20 spent per viewer acquired. No advertising revenue justifies that equation. No sponsorship deal covers those losses. No sustainable business operates on such fundamentals. Meanwhile, the WNBA, the league these players dismissed as inadequate, offered something Unrivaled cannot: stability, consistency, actual job security rooted in 3 decades of operation. That security exists solely because the NBA subsidizes every dollar lost. Without that financial umbrella, the WNBA vanishes overnight. Players treating this arrangement as insufficient demonstrate fundamental misunderstanding of their market position. Consider the parallel. Imagine employees at a company losing money for 30 consecutive years, demanding raises based on what they believe they deserve rather than what the business generates. That company would laugh them out of the boardroom. Negotiation requires power. Power requires alternatives. Alternatives require viability. Unrivaled was supposed to provide that viability. It represented the ace up the sleeve during contract talks. Players could confidently demand 30% of gross revenue, knowing they had somewhere else to go if negotiations failed. The strategy possessed elegant simplicity: create competition for talent, watch salaries rise accordingly. Market forces working exactly as economic theory predicts, except the theory requires one crucial element: actual market demand for the product. Gross revenue versus net revenue became the flashpoint. The WNBA offered 50% of net revenue, meaning money remaining after operational expenses. For a league hemorrhaging cash for 3 decades, this seems remarkably generous. Players rejected it outright. They demanded 30% of gross revenue total income before any expenses get subtracted. Under this proposal, the league would lose $700 million, more than the cumulative losses across its entire existence. For months, media narratives insisted women's basketball was experiencing unprecedented growth. Articles celebrated new stars emerging. Analysts proclaimed the sport had finally arrived. The metrics told a different story entirely. Viewership growth meant going from virtually nothing to slightly more than nothing. The explosion everyone celebrated represented a rounding error in professional sports television ratings. One player drove genuine interest, Caitlin Clark. Her college games generated authentic buzz. Her presence elevated every broadcast. Her absence created immediate, measurable declines in engagement. Remove her from the equation, and the entire ecosystem reverts to irrelevance. Unrivaled's collapse proves this conclusively. Without Clark, opening night drew 107,000 viewers on a major network during prime time. College volleyball matches generate superior ratings. Minor league baseball games on Tuesday afternoons attract larger audiences. After months of militant rhetoric about standing firm and fighting for deserved compensation, WNBA players now face humiliating reality. They're considering playing under the old collective bargaining agreement, the same deal they previously called degrading, the same contract they declared unacceptable. How does one demand millions only to accept previous wages within weeks? The answer is simple and brutal. You lose all leverage. Every embarrassing, unrivaled rating weakens the player's negotiating position further. Every time TNT executives review those viewership numbers and question their investment, the union's power diminishes. The irony cuts deep. Players rejected a deal offering them millionaire status, literally what they originally requested, because entitlement convinced them of worth the market refuses to validate. Electric companies don't accept beliefs as payment. Landlords don't care about principles when rent comes due. The market delivers truth without sentiment. Unrivaled's founders promoted their league as sustainable, as the future of women's basketball, as proof that alternatives exist. Opening night's 65% viewership collapse exposed that marketing as fantasy. Sustainability requires revenue. Revenue requires audience. Audience requires content people actually want to consume. TNT cannot continue investing in a product that fails to attract even minimal viewership. No network can. No business model survives such catastrophic engagement metrics. The WNBA possesses one advantage over startup leagues: longevity. 3 decades of survival because the NBA continuously absorbs losses. Surviving, however, differs fundamentally from thriving. Players should demonstrate gratitude for what they have. Instead, they demand more from a system already providing everything while generating nothing. Here's what negotiations reveal about actual power dynamics. The WNBA doesn't need these specific players. If the entire roster strikes, replacements arrive immediately. College stars desperate for professional opportunity would leap at $120,000 contracts. Would quality decrease? Marginally. Would viewership change? Probably not significantly, given current ratings already hover near irrelevance. The market demonstrates this harsh reality. These athletes are replaceable. Their skill level, while impressive relative to general population, doesn't translate into commercial value sufficient to justify demanded compensation. This isn't commentary on their athletic ability, it's observation about entertainment economics. NBA players command massive salaries because they generate billions in revenue. Their skills create a product millions willingly pay to consume. WNBA players possess skills that generate losses requiring subsidy. That's not opinion, it's 3 decades of financial statements. Let's address what nobody wants to state plainly. The NBA doesn't need the WNBA. Not for publicity, not for social credit, not for diversity optics, not for anything strategically valuable. The relationship is pure charity wearing the costume of partnership. The moment this arrangement stops being worth the hassle, it ends. No negotiations, No warnings, just termination. WNBA, players keep pushing as if they possess leverage. They don't. They possess the illusion of leverage, and that illusion shatters with every unrivaled broadcast. Mainstream media won't acknowledge this. They'll continue pushing narratives about growth. They'll keep labeling mediocre players as elite athletes. They'll maintain the pretense that revolution is imminent. Ratings don't care about narratives. Audiences don't care about agendas. Markets don't care about feelings. Unrivaled's failure proves something many suspected but few would articulate. Women's basketball as a commercial product has a ceiling. That ceiling is Caitlin Clark. Without her, you get 107,000 viewers. With her, you get numbers that actually matter for television negotiations. Remove her presence, and the entire ecosystem collapses back to complete irrelevance. This isn't speculation. It's measurable, repeatable, data-driven reality. 3 paths forward exist. Players accept something approximating the old CBA, they strike and get replaced. Or Unrivaled limps along burning investor money until someone pulls the plug. Media will continue fabricating growth stories that aren't happening, and 12 months from now we'll have this exact same conversation because nothing fundamentally changed. The house of cards is falling. Women's basketball received a golden opportunity with Caitlin Clark. Instead of building around her, resentment festered. Instead of capitalizing on authentic interest, they demanded fabricated interest count equally. Now they're learning the lesson markets teach everyone eventually. You're worth what someone will pay, not what you think you deserve. The numbers don't lie. The audience has spoken. And 65% said everything that needed saying. This is what happens when ideology meets economics. Reality wins every single time.